A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Seth Rollins injured on Raw.
Yes, he is, Carl. Well, Roman Reigns is not going to be scheduled for the Elimination Chamber or Backlash.
Dolph Ziggler, now known as Nick Nemeth, signs with TNA.
Jack Perry, now known as Jack Perry, is he left AEW? Let's find out.
Cora Jade suffers an ACL tear just weeks after her return.
OMG. Vince McMahon's Netflix documentary may be coming sooner than we think.
And so is Sting's retirement. And he's picked the Young Bucks. Anthony Mantola's coming up.
Right, freaking now.
Yes, it is. So, unfortunate one to kick things off.
I landed on set for that too. Nice, sorry.
Well, yeah, you look at the picture, he looks so sad. Because he just hindered Jinder last night on Raw.
Yeah.
He is still the champ, but screwed up his knee, which isn't great. So he was hobbling around for like the last 15 minutes or so. Looks like he did it when he did a moonsault. And commentary acknowledged it and stuff as well. Got the win. Apparently he sent the fans home after the match by saying like, drive safe, it's cold out there. But was still hobbling. And then he was kind of, he was helped to the back or he kind of hobbled to the back. But Uncle Dave has said that he's now scheduled for an MRI.
Okay.
So, how unlucky do you have to be to finally get close to being in the main event at WrestleMania without cashing in the most awesome cash in of all time?
Yeah.
Night one of Mania, it seemed like he was going to get Punk and Seth, and now he could have screwed his knee.
Well, thank God that superstar that is Jinder Mahal is there to pick up the slack.
Well, exactly. You know what I mean? I mean,
So over right now.
He's so over now, thanks to Tony Khan. Yeah.
I mean, that's just shit, isn't it? Like, hopefully it's nothing too bad. I mean, if he's going for an MRI, we're not sure of the damage just yet, I imagine. But,
exactly. So, positive thought.
Particularly when he said he sent the fans home. Like, I was like, does he normally do that? Is that because of the knee? Like,
Don't look at me.
It's like that bit out of Always Sunny. I need to scream.
Oh, basically. Okay, you drive safe. But yeah, so it's gonna be a crying shame if he's actually injured and he's not able to wrestle at Mania. But hopefully, even if he has got a slight injury or something, then they can just kind of rest him. He doesn't need to be wrestling, doesn't need to be at Elimination Chamber. Yeah. So they could just hold him off until Mania.
But as they know, wrestling fans are like goldfish. So the main thing is that he's on TV.
Who?
Seth.
Who? Yeah, so thinking of old Sethy baby, hopefully he's fine. And hopefully, not too serious. And he's still on track for Mania.
Yeah. Speaking of nothing too serious. A segue? Is that way?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Why not?
So this come from the mouth of Dave. Probably not the name of his show. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Roman Reigns, apparently, Carl, is not actually scheduled for, well, many shows, actually. It seems the next scheduled event he is down for is Royal Rumble itself. So that would suggest that he's not going to be around for Backlash and he's not going to be around for Elimination Chamber. And, they're not sure on the TV show status, but...
He wasn't there this week, was he?
Well, exactly. So it seems, I mean, a lot of people obviously had the expectation of him versus The Rock for EC in Perth.
Yeah.
EC in Perth. But yeah, it seems...
You're wild card out, and 1 minute you're going, scheduled, instead of scheduled, and the next minute you're like, yeah. So make your mind.
I like to be inconsistent.
Yeah.
So it seems that we may not have Roman for a while, which...
We haven't had him for a while.
I mean, it's the thing. Fine. This is kind of what he does, and it almost plays into his character. So I'm not really too bothered as long as the pay-per-view quality is still good. I feel this is where, with all due respect, this is where LA Knight is getting into the main event scene without winning the title because it's like, well, we need someone to fill the gap.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. He does a great job of it, but I don't know. I mean, the title drop's got to come soon, surely.
Yeah, you think so? I mean, I still can't imagine he loses before Mania, but the odds are very stacked against him at Rumble. Let's be fair.
Have you heard these rumors that he might be finishing up after Mania?
I think he will. To be fair, if he drops the belt, he's going to go away for a while. Whether it's to do some acting stuff, whether it's just have a break, I'm not too sure.
I mean, it's wrestling, so I wouldn't say that anyone's truly finished up, but it sounds like that would be the sort of the end of him being an in-ring competitor.
Whether people like to admit it or not, he's on a part-time schedule. He's only got a couple more dates a year than John Cena at this point, right? So it is what it is. I think people are losing their minds at this news because everyone was like, oh, well, The Rock's come back. And obviously Cody's going to main event WrestleMania. So we're going to get The Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. People surmised. Again, WWE haven't said anything.
No, we're not.
and the fans are losing their shit over something that they never said they were going to do anyway.
Yeah. So if he's not scheduled for Chamber, then he's showing up at Rumble. If he retains, then you've got to think next time we see him will be Mania. But will they do something screwy like Rock at night 1 and Cody at night 2?
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not shitting on WWE when I say this, but I think when people are getting upset about things like this, you go, well, if you look at your main event scene, and a lot of the roster, really, it's like, it's big stars on part-time schedules. We want to see The Rock, we want to see Cena, we want to see Roman. Punk even is on like almost a part-time schedule at this point. I mean, I haven't seen him in the ring yet. Has he been on TV in the ring? I think so, once. Maybe.
Yeah, he spoke. Anyway, he hasn't been on a match.
No, I mean, like, in a match. I know he's done a match.
No, he did a match with Dom, didn't he, on the house show?
Yeah. So it's like, even he's not wrestling like, this was the I'm here day in, day out kind of guy when he was in his first run.
No.
And even he's... And again, you're getting up to that point in your life, and that's what you do. But that side of the roster is just stacked with people who don't want to be working their ass off, and then we're all sat here upset because they're not doing matches all the time. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of what we signed up for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what all this means. If Roman is only going to work the Rumble and only going to work Mania, then maybe we don't even get The Rock. And if we do, it's going to be SummerSlam or something down the line. Doesn't
it just make sense to have Rock at Rumble, and then whoever wins the Rumble faces him at Mania?
I mean, it does, yeah.
Doesn't that just work?
It does, but the Rumble is like how would that work? So he's already in a Fatal 4-Way, and he said, do you mean he just turns up? Like, what do we do? The Rumble's like a week away.
I mean, to be fair.
And he's got a Fatal 4, so it's like, we can't do that.
I'll be honest, I forgot about
it.
Yeah, so we can't do that.
Mm.
I mean, it's WWE. They could probably have The Rock win the Royal Rumble just before.
Well, they might do. We speculated on it last week, didn't we? Yeah. It can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no Roman till Rumble, and no Roman till Mania.
A new t-shirt for America to show up, rock out.
I like it.
Sorry, anyway.
Speaking of people who showed up and rocked out, Nick Nemeth. He's doing
a thing.
Like, it's like you can't say he's all elite. Like, what do you say if they're doing TNA?
He's non-stop.
I like it. Yeah, Scott D'Amore. You should listen to that. That's is it D'Amore or D'Amore? That's D'Amore.
Damn it! That's too slow.
I knew it was coming. But yeah, Nick Nemeth has made his debut for TNA. What do you make of this? I think a lot of people thought he was destined for AEW to join brother.
I think TNA is, like, again, I said this in previous podcasts. I fucking did, right? That they've been low key killing it for a while, and they haven't got the pockets that both AEW and WWE have, because they haven't got like a billionaire spending money on it constantly. But they deserve super talented people like this, and it's only going to be a great thing for them. I'm glad, because let's face it, he got lost in the mix in AEW, and WWE didn't want him. So this is probably the next shout, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair. He rocked up in New Japan, but then the fact that he's like pulled off his shirt and he's got a TNA thing, like he's signed full time with them, but he's also going to do...
He's got shirts for every company.
Well, yeah. Obviously, TNA will allow people to go and do work whatever schedule they want. So he's already got his face in Cardona at GCW.
One of his new gimmicks is to just confuse people, and he's going to rock up at AEW with a New Japan shirt on. And we're all like, what's happening?
What show are you even watching here? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting move. I think it allows him to do what he needs to do in terms of working all these other promotions and stuff.
Have you seen, not to digress, speaking of people who rocked up on TNA, have you seen Dana Brooks rocked up?
Yeah, people are fuming, aren't they? They're saying they're ripping off Tony Storm.
Yeah, we've seen that. That's what I was going to reference, that meme. It's like, oh, can we get Tony Storm? No, we've got Tony Storm at home.
Yeah. I mean,
I like it's like a woman dressed in anything other than like hot pants and a shirt is copying Tony Storm, apparently, because she wore like a dress, essentially. What do you call it? Like a sequin thing.
Yeah.
She was dressed fancy.
Fancy frock.
She was fancy. So they were like, which is obviously copying Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, what she's going by Ash by Elegance or something. She's going by now. So yeah, who knows what that's going to be.
I mean, that sounds like a fragrance, but
it does. Well, that's what I thought. I thought maybe that's what they're going for. She's a perfume.
Smell of ash.
I'd be great like at marketing. I could. So yeah, Nick Nemeth is non-stop.
He's an absolute menace.
He is. Nemeth is a menace.
There's something there.
Speaking of Menai.
So, Carl,
menace.
For those of you who are like, who's that on the screen? It turns out Jack Perry just basically didn't shave since All Out, All In.
Jungle
All about
Boy
the
is
women's
now
class
Jungle
championship.
Man.
So so we haven't seen him since the whole Punk Gate. What do we actually call it? I'm gonna call it Punk Gate. And it turns out he's now rocked up on New Japan, which is clearly a work. A lot of people are speculating. It was clearly a work. He's turned up. He's pulled out an AEW contract and he's gone. Right.
He's so funny if he didn't rip it.
I know. I'd have loved that gimmick more. And yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, what does it mean? It means that given that AEW have got a relationship with New Japan and that, he happily showed an AEW logo on another promotion, that it's probably a work. And there's probably a way of keeping them away from the AEW fans until they calm down about the whole Punk thing. But I've not got an issue with the whole Punk thing. I've got an issue with the fact that he's not talented. And that's not going away.
Oh. Yeah.
Harsh, maybe.
Harsh, but fair.
Yeah, so he's got a beard now.
Yeah.
And sadly, people on the internet are still making the very real connection between him and Danny Masterson.
Yeah, it didn't help things
Did
really.
not help at all.
No.
Now he's going through the ranch phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. Jack Perry's still around. He's still in the wrestling biz, but now he's in Japan.
Yeah. Do you definitely think it's a work though? The whole ripping off the contract.
Yeah, I
thing?
reckon so. Yeah.
Think.
Let's face it. Like New Japan have fostered a relationship with AEW, a fairly good relationship with AEW. Do you think they'd be like, no, Jack? We don't want to affect that.
He does what he wants. That guy though. He goes rogue, doesn't he?
Real glass, bitch.
Yeah. Real paper.
I love it.
Yeah. You never know.
Honestly, unless he come out wearing a shirt that just said real glass, like he's not really.
He's got an armband as well. It says scapegoat, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, who knows?
So some people are just goats and some people are scapegoats. It is what it is.
Some people are billy goats.
Hey.
Anyway.
Billy Gunn should have that title, to be honest.
Yeah, very true. Unfortunate news again. Why have I got all the bad ones? Cora Jade.
Speaking of injuries.
I know. Not good. So she has been out for a while. She came back in December from a long-term injury and she was working a house show for NXT. And yeah, she seems to have injured herself. Now Uncle Dave believes she's torn her ACL. Now, this is a fucking common injury in NXT. Like, a lot of people have gone down with an ACL tear. Nikita Lyons went down. Ariana Grace went down. There's about 4 or 5 different women have gone down with it. So
Sean back there on the in the training, like, whip that ACL.
Sweet chin music. I can't, Sean.
You have to do 50 before you leave.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, hell of an unfortunate
indeed.
timing for her as well. I believe that she was like scheduled to win the women's title pretty soon. Was even down as making a Rumble appearance, if rumors are to be believed. So, yeah,
super talented. Just a super shame.
Yeah.
Let me start a rumor.
Go on.
You noticed, right? Everyone that Punk's been around since he come back to WWE is getting injured in the legs as well. Pictured with Cora, suddenly boom. Out of one on face to face with Seth, suddenly boom. I don't know, man. I think he's come back to tear the place down from the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Okay, there's me rumor.
Tear them down one ACL at a time.
There's me absolute lie for the
day. Printed everywhere. A tenured member of the creative team.
Sources in WWE have told me.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. But yeah, I think it's a massive shame for her, and hopefully she recovers very soon because.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from the serious news, but every time you say massive shame, my head goes to Sheamus' original music. So stop doing it.
What did that go like?
It's a shameful thing.
Oh,
it's every time you say the word shame, basically.
I thought like it had them lyrics in there or something like that. I'm a massive shame.
I mean, you could just like it's a massive shame. Your ACL. You could do something with it, but my point is, just the word shame has just triggered me to that song.
We didn't put it in the news because we don't want to talk about Hulk Hogan. But did you see Hulk Hogan saved a woman from like a car wreck or something?
We don't want to talk about Hulk.
And did you see how savage Hurricane Helms was? He put like a Twitter post on or something and was like, when your car's crashing down and you're stuck inside. And he's like, come on, tell me you didn't sing along to that or something. And it was just like, holy shit. But it's funny nonetheless.
Look it out. So Hulk's saving people now?
Apparently so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But also, he's still a massive racist. So it's kind of like, oh.
You know. Is that connected? He didn't check a race before he saved it, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
Like, no, he is. He's a controversial figure, let's say.
He is. Speaking of controversial picking.
Unintentional segue, love it.
Sorry.
So, Carl, coming from the mouth of Dave once again, there's talks of the Netflix documentary for Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, in that we may be seeing it a lot sooner than we think. Now, Dave has reported on it as apparently he's been involved in some capacity, been spoken to about it. But he's also reported that obviously when they started filming the documentary to where we are now, a lot has changed. So a lot about the documentaries kind of had to evolve and change to that as well. Obviously, at the time, he was still CEO of WWE, and now he's still CEO of WWE, kind of. Yeah. So a lot's changed. A lot has changed. There was that couple of weeks when he weren't there anymore.
Wow.
But yeah, so it seems that a lot of interesting stuff been going on. The documentary may be out a lot sooner than we think, and we're all going to sit and watch it and go, "All bad, was he?" Because that's how we're probably going to make.
I've heard breaking news for you, by the way. I've heard it's actually a scathing insight into his secret speech impediment. It's actually titled "McMahon or Myth."
Hey, nice. So
quite worth the same, but there's a Stuart Francis joke.
It's good. I like it.
I was thinking, man or myth, McMahon or myth. Stuart Francis joke, and that's how I got there.
It's there. Yeah. I like it. Solid stuff. But yeah, I'm sure. I don't know how unbiased this documentary is, and I don't want them to tear Vince apart the whole time. But I'm hoping to do a balance of the good and the bad, because there was a lot of shit going on in his career, and assume that covering his whole career, you got all the steroid trial stuff. You got his whole thing of like, let's avoid taxes and not call it a sport anymore. There's loads of crazy shit that he's done over the years that is interesting, but not necessarily the most positive.
No,
like, look at me, pet this dog kind of shit.
Yeah, I get a lot of shit for this. Like, people now just hate Vince and forget the legacy he's built and everything he's done, which I just can't fathom. The fact that he's a bit of a shady character, like most businessmen can be, is one thing, and absolutely should be discussed and explored and all that. But you need to also have some of the amazing things he's done in there as well. So I hope it's a...
But that's right, it needs to be a balance. And you're totally right. I mean, you can not like him. That's right, because like you say, he's a beach umbrella, isn't he? Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Anyway, but like, he has done and it's like straight away people like shit on his creative now because they remember some of the wild decisions he made, like Retribution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. You and me have been very vocal about the whole, like, oh yeah, Triple H is just, he can't do no wrong, even though he's made some poor booking choices as well. And I'm not shitting on Triple H, I'm not shitting on Vince. Just the bottom line is some things work and some things don't, and people very quickly like to blame Vince for the things that don't work, and it doesn't necessarily work like that.
Yeah. You did all right for the first 30 odd years, like cut him a break. If there's 1 or 2 years here or there,
It's really started to dip in year 31.
Yeah. Just, Simpsons-esque, which takes us to the final piece of news. And what do you make of this? So, Sting will have his retirement match at Revolution. I had Retribution in my head then because of what you were saying. I was like, what's that pay-per-view called? Yeah, he's having his final match. And I staked my reputation on it being Sting versus Darby. And what does the Stinger go and do? He's said, like, I want to work with the Young Bucks. So the belief is Sting's had the opportunity to pick his retirement match. He's decided to team up with Darby to take on the Young Bucks. And the only thing I can say about it is, the fuck you thinking, Sting? Where are you?
He wants to wrestle him while he's still young.
Listen, no, Ed. Right. It's just mental. Why would that be his retirement match?
It's a contract. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? He's gone, Sting, you can pick your retirement match. And he's picked the most random thing that I don't really think anyone was asking for.
No.
But it's not a fan choice, it is. And he really wants to, we don't know the backstage stuff. He obviously has a lot of time for them. And, he wants to wrestle them. And I can respect it. I just can't see any of the fans going, yeah, we want this match.
The only way I'd be happy with it is if he wins. And he goes out riding high. Otherwise,
what do you think of the fact that they were dressed like the colours of Sting?
There was that, but then they also had terrible little mustaches. Not that I can talk, but it's like, well, what? They came out with a little gold chain and a little mustache, and like.
To be honest, I'm not even that asked about the change in look. It was how over the top the commentary were about it.
Mm.
It's a different look from him. It's like, yeah, get over it, man. He shaved. Calm down.
They're not wearing tie-dye for once. It's okay.
It's like, oh yeah, they're wearing suits without shirts for some reason, and they've now got mustaches. Like basically the kind of guys you wouldn't want hanging around a park.
Yeah, exactly. Shady characters. Beach umbrellas. So yeah, I don't know. I think it should have been Sting versus Darby or Sting versus someone, and he could have put the next
Sting versus anyone
but the Young Bucks. It should have been a singles match. He could have put someone over, or he could have been a match we've never seen before, or something major. And it just kind of feels like,
look,
I'm well.
The only thing I'll say is it's his retirement match. I think we can expect some surprises here, and I think it'll be a good match. I just don't. I say it's just not what people are asking for, but it's his choice. Got to respect that, and hopefully we'll be surprised with the match itself.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, they be the news this week. Do the usual, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening, download this episode and rate it. I don't know what you do these days. But thanks as always. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we will catch you on the next one.